Out of the Blue. Ep. 6. The Thought Carousel. This is a story about Frances, a white dove who discovers that thoughts may appear without permission, but she does not have to climb aboard every one of them. By stepping back instead of arguing with what disturbs her, she learns that forgiveness is the quiet choice that clears the way for peace. Frances heard the music before she saw the carousel. Around and around it turned beneath a bright striped canopy. Instead of horses, every seat was shaped like a thought bubble. One said, "What if?" Another, "You should have." Another, "Fix this now." And one particularly dramatic seat announced, "This is definitely a problem." Frances landed on the carousel fence. "Well," she said, "that one seems important." She climbed aboard. Immediately the carousel began spinning. What if tomorrow goes wrong? Round. Why did she say that? Round. Maybe I should explain myself. Round. Perhaps I need to figure this out. Faster. Frances gripped the brass pole. "I need to stop these thoughts." She tried answering each one. "That won't happen." Another appeared. "You don't know that." She argued with it. A third arrived. "But what if it does?" Frances groaned. The carousel accelerated. Nearby, an elderly woman named Lila sat beneath a blue umbrella selling lemonade. "You enjoying the ride?" she called. "No." "Then why are you still riding?" Frances blinked. "I didn't choose these thoughts." Lila nodded. "Perhaps not." The carousel turned again. "But did you choose to keep following them?" Frances became quiet. That was different. Another thought bubbled past. "You are not doing enough." Frances felt herself lean toward it. Then she stopped. Instead of climbing aboard, she watched it pass. Around it went. Then another. Something is wrong. She watched that one too. For the first time, Frances noticed that thoughts could move through the mind without becoming instructions. She stepped off the carousel. The ride kept turning. "You didn't stop it," Lila said. "No." "You didn't fix it." "No." "You didn't prove the thoughts false." Frances smiled. "No." "And yet here you are." Frances laughed. A breeze moved through the trees. She felt lighter. Then a thought appeared. "You should analyze why this worked." Frances looked at Lila. "Nice try." Later, she discovered a small booth beside the carousel. A sign read, "Thought Repair Diagnosis While You Wait." A man inside wore spectacles and carried a clipboard. "Troubling thought?" he asked. "I've had a few." He nodded seriously. "Let's determine their causes, meanings, categories, histories, and likely consequences." Frances stared at the towering stacks of paperwork behind him. "How long does that take?" "Years, if we're thorough." Frances slowly backed away. "I think I'm retiring from diagnosis." The man looked shocked. "Who will solve you?" Frances paused. That question landed. She had spent so much time assuming she was her own teacher, healer, and guide. If confusion appeared, she believed she had to solve it. If fear appeared, she had to understand it. If something hurt, she had to build the perfect explanation. But perhaps confusion was not asking for better confusion. Perhaps it was asking for another way of seeing. Frances returned to the carousel. A seat approached. "They should understand me." She felt the familiar pull. Instead, she closed her eyes. "I don't know what this means." The thought passed. "Show me another way to see." Nothing dramatic happened. No trumpet sounded. No lightning flashed. But the grip loosened. Another seat approached. "I need to control this." Frances stepped back. Another. "I must be right." She stepped back again. The carousel kept moving, but Frances no longer needed to ride. Lila walked over carrying 2 glasses of lemonade. "Forgiveness is surprisingly refreshing," she said. Frances took a sip. "I thought forgiveness meant making bad thoughts disappear. Maybe it means refusing to make them your teacher." Frances looked toward the carousel. The thoughts were still there. Some silly, some frightened, some persuasive, but none had authority unless she gave it. As the afternoon cooled, fewer thoughts seemed urgent, not because Frances had won an argument with them. She had simply stopped feeding every divided desire. Part of her had wanted peace. Another part had wanted control. Part wanted guidance. Another wanted to be the guide. Part wanted freedom. Another wanted the story to be proven correct. Now she asked only one question. Do I want peace more than I want this thought? The answer became simpler. Yes. The carousel slowed, not because Frances commanded it, because she stopped supplying the energy that kept her running toward every seat. At sunset, she rose above the fairground. The striped canopy became a tiny circle below. Thoughts still appeared. She blessed them and let them pass. No fixing, No arguing, no diagnosis, just willingness to step back and receive another view. The channel cleared, desire became whole, and peace, which had never really left, was remembered again. Out of the blue, may we sing, rest, and dance our way home together.